Christine, we're here to talk about the zeitgeist, content is king, inspired by the Game of Thrones.
Well, content is king. I think it's. We did some work some years ago, and we talked about the drivers of the dynamic economy being commodities, cash, and creativity. And of course, creativity is absolutely 100% behind content is king.
But the trouble is that the creative forces haven't, in most cases, really seen the fruits of their labour, even though the internet has really grown. What's gone wrong?
I think it's all been a matter of the delivery mechanism being the way that the money has been made. So particularly in the music business, for example, their revenues peaked in 20 years ago, more than $25 billion, and the revenues now are less than half of that. Huge plummet. It's only now they're beginning to change because they've got more control of the delivery mechanisms by way of streaming.
So do we think that this then is the beginning of a bit of a new era of growth?
I think it is, because they're harnessing the new technology, just as they did with CDs and indeed as records did years and years ago. But, you know, this is the latest phase in that. And I think that they're perhaps better placed to actually keep the proceeds of the creativity that they have.
And what about other creative sectors? I mean, TV media perhaps has done somewhat better out of the digital revolution, but has more potential still?
It still has potential, I think, but the difference with the TV and the cinema is that there are greater barriers to entry. You think about news, and news demands a massive infrastructure, depending on which area of news, potentially globally, and that does leave out a lot of potential competitors.
And what about other areas, like, say, education, for example?
Education is different, I think. It depends on which bit of education you're talking about. I mean, if you're doing a programme about a novel, that is arguably, perhaps reviewing a novel, it's arguably a cheaper choice of programme than if you're depicting some complicated experiment.
All right. Well, I think we've got here pretty good prospects for a turnaround in growth that will really benefit these various content providers. What is the way to invest in this?
Well, I think the way to do, first of all, you have to remember about the fact that this is a global industry, and it's important to find ways to harness the new demand that's coming from markets like China and India, where in some cases they're creating their own companies, which are themselves an opportunity. In others, they're actually providing growth potential for existing companies.
I think that makes sense. And I mean, I think for an investor, it's not necessary to go and, I mean, you can go and buy those companies, China, but I think actually one can put together a portfolio of companies, yes, you know, based from Europe that have pretty good exposure both to the European but to the global markets, including yes, that growth market in China.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think this is really the solution for investing in this zeitgeist
at this time.
The turnaround in content, and really going for a basket of the content providers. They may have a little bit of advertising, a bit of distribution mechanism in there as well, but I think with a core element of the content provision.
I think that's right.
Very good. Christine, thank you so much.